Stuck in a job you hate? Today, we're going to talk about proven techniques for dramatic life transformations.
I am your host, Lia Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance.
Would you like to know how to escape the monotony of your current position without losing everything you've worked so hard for? Right. That's the trick, isn't it? We want out of our current situation, but a part of us might be telling us it's not too smart to give up what we have to get what we want. How would it feel if you actually had a map to take you from where you are to where you want to go? What if I could give that to you in 5 short steps? All right, get a pen and paper because you are going to want to write this down. Now, you might want to put it somewhere where your boss won't see it, but you definitely want to have it handy if you felt like you are trapped in a job that just doesn't do it for you. Let's say, for example, that you're in a job where you're making really good money. And in fact, you might be climbing that corporate ladder. But at the end of the day, when you put your phone down and you get up from your desk, you feel like it doesn't, any of it really matter. You feel like, what was the point? And that you're a little bit worried about having to come back the next day and do it all over again. If this sounds like you, then stay tuned, because I've got a few steps that will take you from where you are now to where you want to go in a much more productive and purposeful way than getting frustrated and giving everything up in one foul swoop, right? Wouldn't you love to walk away on purpose, focused on where you're going, and with a clear plan for what to do next? Here's the thing. Each of us has a gift. Each of us has something that's inside of us that is meant to be delivered. Now, when I use the term gift, sometimes people can get confused. They think that it has to be something magical or mystical, and that's not always the case. However, it is absolutely true that the combination of whoever you are and whatever you've done in your life, whatever impulse you have inside of you to bring something new and exciting to the conversation and change the world, all of that together, that's your gift. That's your special sauce. And you can only deliver it, right, to the people that are meant to have it if you allow yourself to really fully embrace what it is. And chances are, if you're not feeling fulfilled at work, you're probably not delivering your goods. So what can you do about it? Well, if you are ready to make a change, or at least to investigate what it might look like to make a change, here are some tips for you that could help you make that decision and do it in a way that allows you to be purposeful about your next steps. So the first thing that you need to do is know your purpose. Know what that unique life purpose is for you. Again, like I said, it's not always a gift, right? Sometimes when we use the term gift, people think of intuitives like myself who happen to have an innate gift, if you will, or an intuitive gift, or a talent like a singer or a basketball star. The reality is we all have something that's divinely ours, some way of showing up in the world that only we can do. Only we can show up the way we're meant to show up and provide the universe exactly what it wanted when it created you. All right. So the first step is to know what that purpose is, to really have absolute clarity about what it is that you are heading towards. First of all, you need to know where you're going. Second of all, you need to know if you're already there. That's right. What if you're already there and there's just some other things that need to be put into place to make where you are now work for you? That's not always what we think of when we talk about, doing our real work. We always feel like we might have to leave where we are and give up everything we've worked so hard for. The reality is that doesn't have to be the case. Sometimes you can shift what you're doing now in such a way that it actually becomes your real work. How nice would that be? But again, first we need to know, what is your purpose? Number 1, which then brings us to number 2. This is a fun one. It's fun because it's something that surprises me when I share it with people and they're like, I didn't think about that, or I haven't really given it any thought, or I'm not really sure what I do want to have the picture be? And that's this. You need to know your numbers, right? This is beyond just understanding what it takes to start a new business, if that's what you choose to do, or launch something, a product, or even a service. There are always costs involved, obviously, to set up a business. But there's a bigger picture to look at. And that is, what numbers do you need to have in place so that you can thrive when you make that pivot, when you make that change? What does that need to look like? How many dollars a month, a year, do you need to have? Not only just in revenue, but bottom line, what do you need to be bringing into your household every month to make sure that you're living the lifestyle that you choose? Now, that's why it's different. And that's why everyone needs to look at it differently. Some people will tell you, like, you need 6 months or 3 months, or, I think I've heard even 18 months. Like, all of these numbers, they're just that. They're just random numbers. When you're really smart about it, what you do is look at your real life, the life you really want to live. Like, how much time do you want to spend at work in your new real job? How much time do you want to spend with your family? Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? I have a client, it's amazing. And her goal, her dream vision was actually to live in a van. It was actually, she wanted to leave, her regular house and live in a van. That was her dream. Guess what she's doing today? In fact, she travels all over the country into Canada in her van. It's amazing. She's got a cute little dog that she travels around with now too, which is really great. And every time I watch her little videos that she's doing from the road, I just smile from ear to ear, knowing that her vision, her ideal situation, didn't include a house, didn't include a job. It just included this amazing van that she rebuilt with her own 2 hands and got to travel around all across our country working, the nomad life. So what are your numbers? That's number 2. What do they really look like? Not based on anybody else's preconceived notions, but your own. What do you really want it to look like? And what will it take, down to the penny if you need to make sure that you have that picture? All right. Number 3, shouldn't surprise anybody who watches me, but I'll share it anyway. Number 3 is spiritual connection. Some sort of rudder, if you will. Something to keep you grounded in your own experience as a human being living a spiritual, experience, or spiritual being living a human experience, right? So wherever you are, you have this connection. Now, I don't care in any shape or form how you connect to source. So whatever you call it, however you call it, whatever it looks like, I guarantee you, if you're going to make a major shift and transformation in your life, you are going to want to have some sort of connection to something higher and greater, more expansive than yourself, even if that's just a mission, right? The mission of what you're doing. But to have that connection serves you in so many ways. First of all, primarily, it gives you access to sustenance, soul-filled sustenance. Helps your spirit, helps your energy, helps you focus and be alive and in the game, as it were. It also helps when things don't necessarily go your way as you're making the transition. This could look a lot of different ways. But, typically, the road forward isn't necessarily always straight. In fact, it's usually pretty windy. And sometimes there's bumps. And sometimes, you fall off the cart altogether. So it is really helpful to have some sort of practice to keep you grounded in the fact that even if your ideal job doesn't happen tomorrow or next week or exactly the way you expected, that without a doubt that you are absolutely here on purpose, and that there is a greater energy source out there who's on your side, supporting you, guiding you. Sometimes people say protecting you. So that's why that's on there. And I feel like for me, as a side note, one of the things that has always helped me come back to is the idea that when I know that I'm here on purpose, and I know that I'm connected to source, I know that my purpose is actually infused with that energy. So it helps me to really feel more confident when I'm out serving people, to know that I'm doing the work that I'm meant to do because it's making a difference, right? It's a bigger, greater gift to the whole to do my work. And that allows me to be more generous in how I show up, more thoughtful, more purposeful. The next is a clear plan. All right, this one might seem obvious, but sometimes I'm surprised. And probably what happens for most people when they don't have a plan is that they allow themselves to get so frustrated and so fed up with not doing their real work that they just reach their limit. I like to call it the 2x4 moment. For me, it happened on a freeway in rush hour traffic after a long day of sales calls when I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my left shoulder. I couldn't catch my breath and I started to sweat. I thought I was having a heart attack. I drove all the way back to the office to tell my boss. And then I realized no job and no person was worth me losing my life. So I quit. The boss texted me one day before I was supposed to come back during my recovery. And I just replied on the phone, "I'm not coming back, I quit." And you know what I did? I threw the phone across the room because I was so shocked that I did that. I had no plan at that moment. I don't recommend it. In fact, that's exactly why I do what I do. I don't want people to be in that position. I was very fortunate. My husband was very supportive and I got a plan really fast. I'll tell you that much. So it always helps to have a plan before you make that leap. And the plan doesn't have to be specific to the point of every single day and every single hour. But there does need to be some sort of structure to where you're going and why you're going there and what you're going to do next. And the better, clearer, more aligned that plan is, the better your odds of actually making that leap and doing it with the most ease and the best outcome. So, yes, have a plan. Now, the last thing is to find some sort of support and accountability so that you can actually make that leap, right? You can have someone who has your best interest at heart, who will keep you accountable for the things you say you're going to do. Even if that's the first thing, which is to say that you're giving your notice to leave whatever current position you're in, whatever current role you're in, and you're going to take that pivot, you're going to take that leap, and you're going to have a new version of your life based on your real work, right? So, to recap, you need to have a purpose. You need to know your numbers. You need to have some sort of connection to something bigger than yourself. And you need a clear plan so that you can have some sort of guide to move forward. And last, you need accountability and support. Now, if you're one of those people now that has listened to this, gotten to this point and realized, oh my gosh, that's me, please reach out. I would love to help support you in making your leap and finding your real work so that you can avoid those 3 massive mistakes that people make that keep them frustrated and doing shallow work and anxious about having their gift die within them. Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.